Hello. Okay. All right. So today I thought I'd talk. My speech changed a lot, and on Friday I completely flipped it again. So today I'm going to talk about making an impact and how to basically a handbook on the why and how around building a purpose-driven business. So my first key takeaway that I want to focus on is the most important thing I think is when you're starting a company, integrating impact into the nature of your business model becomes really hard once you start scaling or any of the challenges that you're facing, as you mentioned, to start to do that later. And you're going to have all these things like raising or hiring or whatever. They're going to get in your way. And so if you can think about how impact actually fits in as a natural byproduct of what you're doing, that's the most important thing. Okay, so why on earth would you want to have social impact in the first place? Well, besides feeling good, my theory is that good business is good for business, and it's not just me. There's a lot of research that's out there. You can Google it, but a few of the ththings I'm going to talk about tonight. One, improving KPIs in your growth. So you're going to have a easier time getting customers. They're going to trust you more. They're going to be more loyal. They're going to stick around for longer, and they're going to help share the word, which are all awesome things. It's going to help you against your competition. Purpose-driven companies are growing faster than other ones. In the UK, B Corps are growing 28 times faster than the national economic average. And in the 2018 financial crisis, B Corps grew 51%. And the most important thing for me is inspiring your team culture. So attracting the top talent, engaging and retaining them. I think if there was one main thing that helped us, one was having two other co-founders, because no matter what, if you wanted to quit, there's two other people that didn't, and then I didn't want to be the first one to quit. And but then after that, bring on an amazing team who are doing some incredible things and a lot of stuff that I couldn't even think of. Okay, so who on this team actually owns impact? Well, impact, everyone influences impact. It starts at the top, of course, and it's up to the leaders of the company and the founders to connect the vision that you see for the world with the vision for your company. But you have to make sure that you're empowering your managers and the people that are leading the execution strategy on your team to seek the opportunities that are going to have a great impact there. And of course, the people on the front lines are the ones that are actually getting that situational awareness, and they're seeing how impact's actually going to be involved. So my 3-step that are pretty major steps framework for figuring this out is 1, find your area, 2, measure the outputs, and 3, model a plan. Okay, so finding your area. I'm sure you all know Patagonia. A natural thing for Patagonia, making stuff for hikers. Hikers are in the environment. You got to focus on the environment. They did a lot of amazing things there. I'm sure you can all Google about Patagonia, but I want to keep moving. Measuring the outputs. These are the metrics, the things that you want to track and make sure that you're making progress along the way, and the things that you believe are going to lead you to your final vision. So how are you actually going to find these out? A great place to start are the Sustainable Development Goals set by the UN. There's 17 of them. And so the various things in your company might align with some of these, and hopefully you can do some brainstorming there. And so you want to have metrics that really line up with a lot of these goals. And the last step is modeling a plan. So this is roughly what the macro of a plan looks like. You have inputs. These are things like human capital, any money that you have. Maybe you have some amazing talent. Maybe you have retail stores like us. Maybe you have, whatever. Then you are doing activities. These are the things that you believe are going to make impact on the world and lead towards your vision. You have outputs that are measuring those activities and seeing any KPIs that you want to make progress on. But then of course, you want to set short-term, medium-term, and long-term. For us, that's 2, 5, and 10-year outcomes that you want to have as milestones so you can actually reflect, because the thing is with a plan is things can change, and it's a living, breathing document. And so as obviously things are not going to go the way you think, as has happened to us a million times, you have to adapt as it goes. A great example of a purpose-driven company is Shopify. I talk about this because it's tech, and we work with them, and they're in Toronto. They have a neon sign on one of the walls that says, when you're thinking about a decision, I'm paraphrasing here because this would be terrible, but when you're thinking about a decision, choose the decision that leads to the more entrepreneurs. And so there's a number of different things here that this impacts in terms of innovation, in terms of alleviating poverty, in terms of helping minorities and creating more equality. It tackles a number of goals here, and as they've scaled up, they've started to look at some of the byproducts that have happened. And so if you're shipping, for instance, packages all over the world, there's a lot of carbon, so then they create a $5 million fund for carbon offsetting. So that's just a little bit of an example of how you can do some of those things. Another key point, I believe, is start small and start now. You don't have to be a Shopify or a Patagonia to do this. One of my favorite businesses in Toronto is called Merchants of Green Coffee. They are based in Leslieville, and they're like a little local coffee shop. And so they proofed out their impact. Their belief was better coffee, better impact. And they're going to invest in making the world a better place through delivering better coffee. They started by being one of the first licensed importer of fair trade coffee in Canada, and had this like local store. And then as that saw some success, then they scaled that up and they launched a project called Cafe Solar, where they partnered with some farms in Honduras to have solar-powered, a fully solar-powered farm with regenerative farming, so that the environment actually becomes a better place. It's entirely woman-led, and it's really just an incredible thing. Okay, there we go.
Questions? Sorry. Thank you, and standing ovation.
Sorry, I ripped through that.
Everybody up! Give them that standing ovation. Woo! I get a whistle. There you go. All right, taking 2 questions.
From an operations and filing perspective, how is a B Corp different than just your regular corporation?
Yeah, in Canada, not super different. In the US, you can actually be, I'm not an ops guy, so I probably have the worst information on this, but in the US, there's like benefit corporations that actually have different legal status. For us, we set them in our corporate docs, and so it's you would have to have like unanimous change to changing that stuff. But basically, we're beholden in our, I don't know. You can ask my co-founder Rami; he would actually be able to tell you. I have no idea. But there's a bunch of legal stuff in there. I signed it, and there would have to be, everybody would have to say no, we don't want to do this anymore to change. But it's a great thing too in terms of you have to do a lot of auditing, and they make everything public, and so. Really just exposing yourself out there, I think, is kind of the main key thing. But yeah, in terms of operations, I don't know. Don't ask me. Ask Rami. Find him on LinkedIn. He's big on LinkedIn.
Okay. One last question.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi. I was just curious if you've ever felt pushback from any stakeholders who view kind of pursuing impact as more of a distraction, and how you've stood up for that.
Yeah, no. So we started it. We started right at the beginning. When we started, we were just looking to make a better T-shirt. Rami was in Egypt for a family wedding. Kanye West had come out with a T-shirt that was made from Egyptian cotton for $120. We said, hey, why not us? And then we found out about farms, the situation on the farming over there, and kind of like once you see stuff, you can't unsee it. So. From basically that point forwards, we decided to make it part of our mission to affect change there. And because we were really small, we started with 15 grand. We had to, do some different things and get people to buy in. And so what better way than to partner with the people on the ground? So then as we grew, of course, when we're pitching people in VC, sure, you get a lot of pushback, and that's definitely a big thing, and not everybody's the right fit, but that's better for us. It weeds out the people that we don't want to work with, and thankfully all of our employees and partners that we've worked with so far have been very supportive and awesome in that area. So I think if you start from the beginning, no, it's not really hard.
Thank you so much.
Then you make it worse. You're like a